7 WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk depend on it.
Remember, if any news, weather, or traffic breaks this hour, we will break in immediately. Now, it's more of the most powerful talk lineup on the radio. Listen live right now on the WHIO app, 1290 and 95.7 WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk.
It's that time again.
Something told me to turn on the radio.
It's showtime!
This is great. It's a nice break.
This guy, Todd.
Monday through Friday.
Getting restless?
5 to 7.
All right, I'm listening. Let's start the show.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me now, 937-457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Oh, Todd, you got off the couch today. So we're gonna give you just a little bit of praise. A little bit of praise just for you. Well, you actually got off your couch today. You know we gotta give you praise. Sing that name. Sing that name. Oh, Todd, we praise you.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. What a big day here. WHIO. We got mulched. We got our mulch. It's always an exciting day. That means spring is almost here. And that lovely aroma of freshly spread mulch. Oh, yes. And also, if you missed the newscast a few minutes ago, Ron Otto, probably the most important story of the day, it is officially coyote mating season. So, be on the alert of, if you hear this, when you're outside with your puppies and your kitties, maybe your kids, run back inside. Just run back inside because the coyotes could be waiting for you around the bush, right? So anyway, tonight on the show, of course, it is Leap Day. And this is the day that only happens once every 4 years. And one of the traditions, and this is kind of it's a universal thing, people know about this, is that in British and Irish tradition, on this day, this is the day that women are allowed, well, of course, they're always allowed, but at one time they weren't, propose marriage to their partner. Usually, traditionally, it's the men proposing to the women. But back in the year 1288, it sort of became a thing in Great Britain, where on this day, women could propose to their partner. And the story is the patroness saint of Ireland was able to convince St. Patrick to allow women to propose to men once every 4 years because they were tired of waiting for guys to get off the pot, right? And get to it, which, that hasn't changed. A lot of men, it takes them a little more time to get to that point. I was that way with Mary. She was ready to marry me long before I was ready to marry her. But it never got to that point where she was going to ask me to marry her. I don't think so. Because the guy asking the gal is a pretty hardcore tradition here in the States. And I would imagine it's that way around the world. But being that today is Leap Day, and this is the tradition of women asking their partners, their men, to marry them, I'd be curious to know if any of the edgeheads out there actually did that. If you're a lady edgehead, did you ask your husband, or maybe a former husband, to marry you? I would bet that we don't find anybody. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I'd be interested to know the story. The way this particular superstition reads is that according to Scottish tradition, women who were proposing to their men also had to wear a red petticoat. while proposing. Love that. Love that. Who doesn't love a red petticoat? Also, if the man turned down the lady's proposal, he had to reimburse the woman that they rejected with gifts, in particular, gloves. So it would hide their ringless finger, or they were fined. So that's kind of interesting. Little history there on Leap Day. So if maybe you happen to be somebody who asked your husband to marry you, I'd love to hear from you. 937-457-1290. We also have this going on.
You crashed the car. In local news, a spectacular car crash.
Car.
Well, we had another car crash into a building today. If you are keeping track, we are at number 25 for the year. Number 25. And it happened at the Muffler Man on Salem Avenue in Trotwood. I don't know exactly what time. The details are a bit sketch. So maybe if you live in that area or you went by sometime this morning on Salem Avenue, it's a highly traveled road. And you know where the Muffler Man is, not to be confused with the Muffin Man, but the Muffler Man. Maybe you can enlighten us. 937-457-1290. And by the way, our Cars into Building tally list is sponsored by the good folks at Tires Unlimited. It's family focused. They provide a safe and comfortable atmosphere where families know they will be cared for and treated right. And this is a great place to go because, I did a remote there, a radio remote, did my show live just before the holidays. And, you go to a lot of places for car repair or get your tires fixed or changed or whatever. And you don't want to take your kids because there's never anything for them to do. Like if you're a mom and you got to run to get your tires taken care of, what are you going to do with your kid? Well, they actually have a play area for the kids with some activities and a TV, and it's just kind of a comfortable place to go. So you might try Tires Unlimited. Find them at tiresunlimited.net. 937-457-1290. We've also got a crazy teacher story. And I thought,
I'm literally the worst teacher ever.
You're a really shitty teacher.
No such thing as a bad student, only bad teacher.
We've done this. Oh, yeah.
You're the worst
Sorry.
teacher I've ever had.
We've done this before where sometimes we have a story about a teacher that did something really crazy in the classroom, and we open it up to phone calls as to the crazy things that maybe you experienced your teacher doing in class. This is a teacher in New Mexico. Now, this happened a couple of years ago, but it's just this week that the family of the student filing a lawsuit against the school board there. This happened at Volcano Vista High School in Albuquerque back in May of 2022. A family says that a teacher who has since been fired brought 2 sharpened swords to her class and organized an in-class sword fight between students. Now, I don't know if this is one of those instances, and we've had the story where there have been teachers creating fight scenarios in their classroom and recording it and putting it up on the TikTok. So I don't know if that's what the purpose was here, but apparently she let a couple of students spar with actual swords. Well, the students were not given protective equipment. The victim was slashed across the arm by her opponent, resulting in a deep laceration across her right hand and wrist. The teacher, upon realizing the severity of the injury, apparently screamed, "I'm in trouble." No kidding, sister. And then ordered all the students to delete the videos of the sword fights. The lawsuit then says school officials took about 30 minutes before calling 911. While this student, this 16-year-old kid, I guess at the time, if this was a couple of years ago, it was probably 14, was bleeding. She had a giant gash on her arm from a sword. And it took them 30 minutes to call the 911. She was taken to a hospital and underwent surgery, but she never fully healed. They say that she suffered permanent severed nerves and tendons. So nerve damage and tendon damage. And according to her lawyer, she feels pain every day from it. They also say, in addition to allowing the students to fight with real swords, sounds like a really screwy, gym class activity. We've replaced dodgeball with sword fighting. The lawsuit says the school's assistant principal covered up what happened, writing in a report that the accident occurred during a, quote, lesson on metal and melding. But they were fighting each other with the swords. The teacher was fired a few months later, and school officials are not commenting on this lawsuit that was just filed. But if you had some sort of crazy activity or some sort of crazy experience in a classroom with a teacher, I'd love to hear it. 937-457-1290.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
How's everybody doing? Hey, Josh. Hey, Kim. Hey, Leslie. Hey, David. Hey, Clinton. Hey, Paul. Ryan, what's going on? Clinton, hey. Russell, hey. Yeah, every once in a while, it's good to take a break. So I'll address this here on the live stream because people are asking about it. I honestly don't know anything about what happened behind the scenes with Mark K. I don't. I just don't. I will just say this, that it's not typical for Cox to fire somebody midweek unless it's for cause. And what that cause could be, I don't even want to speculate. But that usually doesn't happen. So, who knows what the situation was? I don't know. I'm sure that more will come out as time passes. But I really don't know anything more about that. So, I hope that answers everyone's questions. Speculation is fun. I would agree, Ryan. I love to speculate. I also love rumors and innuendo. Yeah, I don't think I didn't think I'd get any calls about women proposing to their husbands. I love that. I didn't propose. I made him move to Ohio. That's pretty good. Oh, wow, Leslie. That's interesting to me. I've always wondered about chiropractors. My mom used to go to one and sort of had a so-so experience. I think my sister's been to one. Is it going to be warm tomorrow? Clinton, I don't. I know you would like to think that I do, but I honestly don't. I don't have the scoop on Mark K. I really don't. And here's the thing: is this decision came from much higher up.
Lawmakers trying to avoid a government shutdown. We'll have the latest at 5:30. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 at 95.7 WHIO.
Well, he has quite the reputation.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. You can watch the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Stitch. And you can send me an email at eveningedgetodd@gmail.com or message me at eveningedgetodd. Talking about this teacher in New Mexico who was fired, and the school is now being sued because she allowed a couple of kids in her class to fight each other with swords. Real swords! They weren't even given protective gear. Wasn't one of those rubber tip swords. These are like real swords. I've also noticed a lot of stories recently of people who get busted, whether it's with drugs or committing a crime or something, where they're using machetes. And I'm seeing machetes more and more in the news. I remember as a kid, machetes were, you'd hear about them, but you'd only see them on TV, like in, movies or whatever. And it was always somebody going through the bush with their machete. Now it's out on the street. People apparently are into machetes now. Kind of a trendy tool. Dale in Riverside. Hey, Dale.
Hey, man.
How are you?
I'm doing great today. I got tomorrow off.
Awesome. That's nice. That's nice.
And I heard you talking about the teacher story, and I have one I have to share.
Yes, let's hear it.
Okay, so we're a group of high school kids. This goes back a little ways now. This is in the 80s.
Okay.
And there's a whole group of us in one of those, you remember the customized vans? They had a sink and a couple captain's chairs and
a teardrop
window.
Yeah, those are sweet. Those are
sweet. I get to the teacher thing, but there's a bunch of us in there. We've been hanging around Snyder Park and Springfield and drinking beer. I knew you'd like it because it has beer in it.
Were you smoking doobies?
I can't comment on that.
All right, go ahead.
We're driving home from Snyder Park in Springfield, heading for New Carlisle, and we pop over a hill and there's a car going much slower. we went to try and swerve around him, but didn't do it. We clipped the car and ended up going in the ditch and taking out a few mailboxes and
Right.
you know, and so it wasn't pretty. But the teacher involvement is this: we hit the driver's ed teacher.
Wow.
So, you know, of course, we're in the ditch. Everybody climbs out. We were all okay.
Right.
And, you know, we're carrying away the empty beers and tossing them in the ditch, you know, the case of Little Kings. And
Little King's Cream Ale.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we didn't get in trouble. He never, you know, of course, the cops came eventually, but he didn't say he saw us carrying away
so the teacher
empty bottle.
Okay, so you hit the teacher. You guys were drinking, and the teacher never like ratted you out to anybody at the school.
That is correct.
Wow. It's not quite to the level of letting the kids sword fight in the classroom, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I got that. All right, Dale, I appreciate your call, buddy. That line's open, 937-457-1290. I'm going to do a quick email real quick here.
Sit back down and shut your trap. It's time for mail call. Message for you, son.
You should see a fan mail.
You got a message. I got your letter. Amazing what you can accomplish by mail.
Congratulations, Skippy. You've got mail.
Again, the email address, eveningedgetodd@gmail.com. Hey, Todd, did you know today was National Tooth Fairy Day? Now, I will say I got this last night. So I did some research, and yes, yesterday apparently was National Tooth Fairy Day, one of 2 days during the year that National Tooth Fairy Day is celebrated. It's also celebrated, I guess, in August. Why it has 2 days, I don't know. But the email continues, I had no idea there was such a thing, but I thought you should know. I love your show, Kayla in Centerville. So I didn't know that. I had no clue that there was a National Tooth Fairy Day. But just out of curiosity, I wanted to see and ask, what's the going rate for a tooth these days from the Tooth Fairy? I mean, when I was a kid, I'd get a silver dollar, and that was it. So I did a little research, and apparently the national average for a Tooth Fairy gift, I can't believe that they actually did this, but Delta Dental did a poll. It has risen from $2 in 2001 to more than $6 in 2023. And some parents who I guess were interviewed by the Wall Street Journal revealed that the gifts are becoming even more and more extravagant from the Tooth Fairy, including cash, video games, designer jewelry, and even iPhones. Are you kidding me? Kids are getting gifts for losing teeth from the Tooth Fairy? I think a dollar, silver dollar is good enough, right? So what do you, what's the Tooth Fairy bring to your house? I'd be curious to know.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Clinton, I think you'd have to knock your own teeth out. Yeah, that makes sense. $5 for the first tooth, $1. Yeah, that's kind of fun. You know, you get your first tooth. That's a big deal. Smoking doobies. Did you guys see the video? Speaking of people using strange weapons, not that a machete is a strange weapon, but this video of two people fighting in California on Venice Beach. I saw it yesterday, and I didn't talk about it last night, but it was a naked woman with what was it? A naked woman with maybe a sword, and the other woman was clothed, and she had a bat, like Negan from Walking Dead. $20. Holy cow. I'm doing good, Josh. Thank you. Luna is doing well today. She's 12 teeth lighter. Imagine if dogs got money for their missing teeth. Renee, I kind of addressed that at the beginning, and I'll just say this, and it's 100% true. I don't know why that decision was made, and I can tell you that the decision was made at corporate, it wasn't a WHIO decision. We don't make that decision. That's a corporate thing. So I don't know what the story is, but it is what it is. And
immediately. Now, it's more of the most powerful talk lineup on the radio. Listen live right now on the WHIO app, 1290 and 95.7 WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk.
Everybody, could I have your attention, please?
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Now, hold on, dummy. Just you listen to me.
Now, listen to me carefully.
You boys got something to say to me? Why don't you talk into the microphone?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Watch live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Stitch every night from 5 to 7. That's the question, the going rate for a tooth from the Tooth Fairy. And I only bring it up. We got an email from an edgehead saying that yesterday was National Tooth Fairy Day. How did she get a date? And I'm assuming it's a she. Or am I being sexist? I don't know, like Cupid's a male, right? Tooth Fairy's female, at least in my head. Easter Bunny, male? I don't know. Of course, Santa's a dude. I don't know what else, what other Groundhog's Day? You don't know, right? St. Patrick's Day? Leprechaun's a dude. I don't know. But if you have an idea at what the Tooth Fairy is bringing these days, I'd love to know. Some people on the live stream said, and this seems to be, it's like $2 for a tooth, unless it's the first one, then it's $5. One person commented that it was, it was $1. And then miraculously, a $20 bill showed up the next morning. So somebody came in and after the Tooth Fairy, I guess. I don't know. 937-457-1290. John in Fairborn. What's up, John?
Well, I hope you never try to outdo the teacher with swords, because that's more like I can't outdo it. But I'm glad I can't. But she must have been a crack baby. There's no way around that. That's insanity. But I had, things that you took for granted that you went through some violent episodes with teachers. 2 instances with me was when third grade, I went to a Catholic grade school, and the nuns they were like military.
Sure.
You got a great education, but they didn't put up with anything.
Right.
And so you had the chalkboard. And behind the chalkboard was the cloakroom where you put your jacket and your lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And if the nun caught you not paying attention, she would snatch you by the collar, pull you behind into the cloakroom, and slam you up against the wall, and the chalk would come flying off the chalkboard.
Wow.
And you just took it for granted. But the one case where I didn't expect it was when I was in 7th grade, and I had this teacher. And as a joke, I had a pound eraser. I don't know if you ever seen them. It was literally a pound.
A pound?
Yeah.
You had an eraser that weighed a pound?
Yes, it weighed a pound. That's why I got it like a joke.
Okay.
And instead of like erasing, with your little eraser on the end of your pencil.
Sure.
I would pull it out just for jokes and do this. Well, this teacher, he snatched it from me without any explanation. I thought he was going to throw it in the trash. He put it on his desk. And what he would use it for, whenever there was a quiz, if anyone got the answer wrong, he would throw that thing as hard as he could and hit you upside the head.
Oh, he used it as a projectile.
Projectile, and he was a former college pitcher.
Wow.
I know some kids had a slight concussion.
Man, oh man. Imagine going home and telling your mom and dad, I got clubbed up against side of the head with a giant eraser.
That was the times. No one said anything.
Right. Yeah. I got you.
Well, Well, anyway, it wasn't a sword, so I feel like I got out easy.
I appreciate your call, John. I had a teacher in junior high where it wasn't so much that he did something crazy like that. Like he didn't let us fight with swords or anything of that nature. But if there was ever a fight, like out on, I call it a playground. It was junior high. It wasn't really a playground, but it was sort of a parking area where you'd all go out and hang out, and just whatever after lunch. That occasionally there would be a fight. And he'd let them fight until one of them was on the ground. And then, if one goes on the ground, lots of times the other one's on the ground. And that's when he would step in. So, if you had a couple of 13-year-olds out there sort of sparring, going at it, he just let them go. And there, the big circle, of people would kind of surround them. And they just beat the living daylights out of each other until they hit the ground. It's a little bit like, that's what hockey referees do, right? You watch a hockey game, they just let them beat each other up until one of them goes down. And then everybody just piles on top of them and separates them. But that's probably the craziest thing that I saw a teacher do. I just couldn't think of anything. I mean, I've talked about, John was talking about being disciplined as a kid and how times have changed. Teachers can't really get away with that anymore. I remember being in a fire drill. And I had one of those, and if you remember this, back in the 70s, they had these big combs. You'd have this big comb sticking out of your back pocket. It was like a trendy thing, these big combs. And I had one in my back pocket, and the kid behind me pulled it out of my pocket while we were standing outside for this fire drill. And as you know, when you're in school, you have a fire drill, you keep your mouth shut. You're not supposed to talk. You're just supposed to follow the line. Go outside, they take attendance, you wait there for 5 minutes, then you go back in. Well, this kid took the comb out of my pocket, and I turned around to, say something, and within a second, the teacher with her grade book right on top of my head. Whammo. And boy, oh boy, I remember that. I remember the teacher's name. It was Mrs. Carmack. She was tough. And it was last time I talked in a fire drill. 937-457-1290. We've got, let's just call it drunk and disorderly story.
Drunk and disorderly.
Drunk and disorderly. Drunk and disorderly.
Drunk and disorderly.
Are you drunk?
All right, get him out there. You're under arrest. Drunk and disorderly.
Well, this happened I've never heard of this town. It's in Ontario, Ajax, Ontario. 42-year-old man was arrested last week, not once, but twice on the same day. Now, this is just, criminals are dumb. We know that, right? His first arrest was the morning of February 20th. Well, both happened that day. Cops were called to a restaurant on a report of a drunk man causing a disturbance. The man, whose identity has not been disclosed, was reportedly failing to comply with cops and when they ordered him to vacate the premises, culminating in his arrest for public intoxication. So to try to de-escalate the situation, the cops released the man into his mother's care, a move that was expected to put an end to the day's drama. However, according to this story, and whoever wrote this, pretty good with words, the narrative took a remarkable twist when later in the day, the man decided to drive himself to the police station to complain about his arrest earlier that morning. But upon arrival, officers quickly surmised the man was still under the influence, and he admitted to them that he had driven himself to the station. A subsequent breath test confirmed that he was impaired, and he was arrested for the second time that day for an alcohol-related offense, lost his license for 90 days, and his car was impounded. So, he drove himself to complain about being arrested for being intoxicated, and he was intoxicated. So, again, criminals are dumb. Bobby in the Berg. What's going on, Bobby?
What's going on? We're probably about the same age. Kind of grew up about the same time, but this happened in high schoal. I went to Miamisburg.
Okay.
And I'll keep the teacher's name out of it, but had a teacher in high school that was just an absolute piece of work all the time.
Right.
And it was a female, and back in the day, I don't know if now, but I mean, a couple of the teachers we had had drinking problems.
It still exists. You hear it all the time.
So we decided to fix an English teacher. I'll keep her name out of it, but she would always assign something, and she was kind of a witch about assigning things and nasty and what have you. So
yeah,
we decided to. She'd always leave the class to go down to the teachers' lounge, and of course, you never knew what was going on at the teachers' lounge.
You heard rumors. You heard innuendo.
Yeah, whether it's smoking or having a little cough syrup, a pick me up between classes, what have you.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do this now. But we put mint X-Lax in her coffee mug.
Oh. Wow. Now, see, you hear stories about that from time to time, and those kids end up getting arrested.
Well, you can't do that now.
Right.
Back in the day, it was like tomfoolery, and it was just kind of like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah. It is interesting, and you hear stories like this more often because, and we've talked about it, people are a little more unhinged now than they used to be. Especially, I would imagine, in very stressful situations and environments. And I would consider a school being one of those environments. I mean, I know retired teachers who are like, they loved teaching, but would never do it again. Like in today's world, they're like, forget it.
We had a couple of teachers that had like known drinking problems, and I'm like, they'd snap at a moment's notice, and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what they do nowadays, the way there's no discipline in schools now, and it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, they would make it a day.
Right. Yeah. All right, Bobby, I appreciate your call, buddy.
Take care, man.
Thanks for calling from the Berg.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Yes, I did get my comb back. Chris, if you go to WHIO.com and you click on, let me find it for you. If you click on WHIO Radio and the little hamburger menu, and you go down to contact WHIO Radio, there is, I thought there was an email. Yes, you click on their name and you can send an email. And it's Nick Roberts, Director of Radio Operations and Program Director. That's where you can find it. I think I want to take Monday off. It's going to be sunny and 72. That sounds good. See what the UD schedule is for next week. Oh, come on. UD basketball schedule. Looks like the next UD game that is going to preempt my show is next Friday. That tip-off is at 7. So I'll only be on for an hour. What's the weather next Friday? It's supposed to rain. Boo. Yep, that's him, Heather. I appreciate that, Christopher. I don't know that I'd want to do a show noon to 3, though I will say this. It is nice to be done at 3 o'clock and then just, be done with the day. But I always think of my show as sort of like happy hour. You know? And I think afternoon suits me better. Hey, I was just talking about that video at Venice Beach, and Fox News is showing it right now. Oh my gosh. America goes medieval. That's awesome. That is crazy. The beer can story. I'd love to know what the beer can story is. Cheez-It tostada. Oh, yeah. Yep, I've heard about that, Colleen. It's real. Somebody asked me, sent me a picture of it and said, is this real? I'm like, yep, it's real. Anybody else feel like the camera? I feel like I'm low or something. Maybe hang on. Maybe my chair's a little too, here. Let's try that again. There you go. That's better. I feel like I sank down in the seat. Apparently the hydraulics are on their last leg.
McAfee Heating and Air Studios. Breathe easy. Choose McAfee. WHIO Dayton and WHIO FM Pleasant Hill.
Feeling more spring-like this weekend. We'll have the latest at 6. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 at 95.7 WHIO.
Something told me to turn on the radio.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. A few minutes ago on the live stream, I was talking about this video that's going around of a naked woman in Venice Beach, California, fighting another woman who's clothed, but that woman, the clothed woman, has a club with spikes in it, and they're going at it. And surprisingly, the naked woman won. I don't know what she had. I don't know if it might have been a machete. Who knows? Or a sword. But at least she had some sort of weapon. But that video's going around, and I just saw it on Fox, so you might want to check it out. Let's see. Rick in Miamisburg. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Todd. How you doing?
I'm well.
Listen, I just got back in the car, and I heard you guys talking about teachers and shenanigans. I went to the Berg back in the day when Fred Flintstone and Barney were going. But anyway, they, in the old days, they used to have, like when you had health class or gym class, those guys that taught them were usually one of the coaches of something, like a football coach or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had to take health class. I had a health class. I had this big old football coach for a health teacher, and he was one of them over-the-top guys.
Sure,
big old hands, big football player.
Right.
I saw him throw one of those quarter erasers and big pink ones. I've seen him bounce one of them off a guy's head one day. But anyway, he had huge hands, and he had this big, huge college ring.
Oh,
and I don't know, maybe it was a football championship ring or something. And there was a guy in the front row of the health class, and he dozed off. And I see everybody noticed that he dozed off, and it got real quiet.
Yeah.
I seen him stand up out of his chair, and I saw him turn that ring over backwards toward his palm and reach out and whack this guy on the head.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, it sounded like when we were kids and we'd hit rocks with baseball bats.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
needless to say, it got his attention.
Well, that reminded me of something that happened to me in a government class. And I remember my teacher, and this was back in the 80s, okay? And I was a high school student. I think I was a senior. And I asked the question, again, this was back in the days of the arms race, okay, between the Soviet Union and the United States. And I just asked the question about, why do we keep building all these weapons when we can blow the world up 20 times over? Whatever. It's a kind of question that a 18-year-old might ask. He walked to my desk. I was about the fifth row. He walks up with a wooden pointer and slams it down on my desk, scares the living daylights out of me and everybody else. And he goes, "Did that scare you?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, that's why we buy and build all those nuclear weapons, to scare the other person into submission."
Interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting lesson that I learned that day. All right, Rick, I appreciate it, buddy. Right. I gotta go. Have a good one. Coming up, we got a couple of dog stories. We got a Dammit Dog and I'm a Good Dog story, and these are really good. I can't wait to talk about them.
What am I listening to now?
What is this? The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
T-O.
Double D.
H.
Oh.
Double L.
S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
Hi, Heather. How you doing? Heather, was it intentional? Do you think the cat tripped you intentionally? I hope not. Cats can be sneaky. I'm just saying. Are you kidding, Leslie? That's awesome. What a crazy story. Oh, I've got to share that story. That is great. I'm glad, Josh. That's awesome to hear. Is it glitchy? Headroom is back. You know what I think it is, Josh? Sometimes if I'm doing production in here, like if right there I was editing a sound clip. I was editing it, and I think because of that, it causes some interference on the live stream because it's on the same computer. It's interesting on this computer, the one that the live stream is on, it's the live stream, which is the web browser. It's also the call screening software. It's also the audio player for some of my sound effects and clips, and it's the editing. It's the Adobe editing software. So there's a lot going on in this computer. It'd be nice if there was a separate computer for that, but I guess if I wanted to bring my, well, no, I couldn't do that. I was thinking I could bring my laptop in and just hook the camera to that, but the audio that you hear is also going through that computer. So it's a lot.
Best thing on the radio!
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me now, 937-457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Why don't you get a job, Spicoli?
What for?
You need money.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. We've been talking about crazy teacher stories. We had a story at the beginning of the show. Teacher in New Mexico fired after one of her students was severely injured during an in-class sword fight. And that just kind of got us going on crazy stories that, teachers may have done or that we witnessed. And Leslie, who watches our live stream, just commented with this. And this is great. She said, in 5th grade, I watched the news every evening. The teacher asked us to name some products from Colombia, the country of Colombia. And Leslie answered. She raised her hand and said cocaine. And apparently that was enough for a trip to the principal's office. But she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Come on. So if you got one of those crazy stories, 937-457-1290. It's also leap day. It's leap year, whatever. And we are also looking for maybe a woman who proposed to her husband, because the tradition is primarily in Great Britain. If on leap day every 4 years, the tradition is that's when women who are sick and tired of waiting for their partners to propose can turn about and ask them. Now, of course, in today's world, you don't need a day to do that. At one time you did. That was the law. Back in the days of Queen, some old queen. But if you got a story like that, maybe you proposed, 937-457-1290. We have a Dammit Dog.
The Misadventures of Dammit Dog.
Dammit Dog! Well, we love our dogs, and sometimes they do crazy things. And this is a story from Mobile, Alabama. I've never been to Mobile. I've been to Birmingham, but I've never been to Mobile, at least not that I remember. Maybe we went through Mobile. I don't know. A Cane Corso dog, and this is a big dog, pretty big dog, named Bear. And I'm surprised I hadn't heard about this story. For nearly a year, this dog Bear has been roaming the streets of Mobile. I knew I was going to do that. Mobile, Alabama, with a boxy trash can on top of its head. So it's a trash can that they think the dog was rooting through, and somehow this trash can lid got stuck on his head. And for nearly a year, they tried to trap this dog. They tried to catch this dog. And they couldn't do it. He was too quick. The traps didn't work that they set. Humane traps, right? They didn't work because the box on his head, the trash can lid. There's pictures of it. You got to see it. It's on social media. But anyway, they finally caught Bear this last week. Their efforts included a chemical capture with a dart gun or sedative, a net gun, and even cornering the dog with 10 people. And they couldn't do it. He was just too quick. And they knew that he was still feeding because over the last year, he wasn't withering away, thankfully. He was still able to eat. They said that releasing Bear from the trash can was made more difficult. Yeah, because the traps were ineffective. Last week, they finally caught the dog and were able to remove the trash can from his head. But then, as soon as they got the trash can lid off his head, he bolted. He took off, and he's still on the loose, but now he's traveling much lighter. And they believe Bear was rooting through a trash can looking for food when it got stuck. So yeah, that happens. That happens. Let me take Daryl real quick. Hey, Daryl, what's going on in Xenia?
Hey, I got a teacher story for you. When I was in grade school, small country grade school, the principal liked to be our umpire of our baseball game that we would have every day at noon.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we're playing, and I'm playing second base. And he called the guy safe, and I had him tagged out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at this point in time that you should never refute a umpire.
Right.
So I said, I had him tagged out. And he walked back from, he always did his umpiring from right behind the pitcher.
Right, yeah.
And he walked back to me and slapped me on the face.
Wow.
And I was so, I was probably a fifth grader, and I was so freaked by it that I peed a little bit in my pants. I didn't pee them all the way.
No, I got you. Yeah.
But I tell you what, in this day and age, that guy would have never had a job anywhere from there on out.
Yeah.
But, it taught me something. I thought it was a good thing in the end because it taught me, you don't talk back to the umpire.
Right. And did you know that it was you knew it was your principal, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. I get that.
So, just so maybe if anybody, he's dead, long dead, anybody that might know him, he had a funny name too. Wiley was his first name, and Manker was his last name.
Wank?
So hopefully there's none of his family out there.
Did you say, wait. Did you say Yanker or?
Manker, M-A-N-K-E-R.
Oh, Manker. Okay. All right. You said Wiley. I thought, wow, that's a tough name to have as a school principal, if you know what I mean. All right, Daryl, I appreciate your call, buddy. That line's open, 937-457-1290. All right, now we have a good dog story.
I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog.
Try to balance the good stories with the crazy Dammit Dog stories.
I'm a good dog, I'm a good what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm a real good dog. See, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog.
Well, this story takes place in Clawson, Michigan, and it has to do with a dog named Aries. And Aries, unfortunately, was riding in a car last week that was involved in a car accident. And after the accident, the dog got loose and took off. And this has happened before. It's not uncommon. Especially if the driver might be incapacitated or, is trapped in the car, but yet the dog manages to get out, or the dog's, could be flipped out of the car or whatever, thrown from the window, that kind of thing. I remember this happened a year or so ago in Montana, and it was an accident, and the dog went nuts and fled. And they didn't find him for almost a week and a half. But Aries knew exactly what he was doing when he got out of the car or fled the scene, I guess. Shortly after the accident, Aries showed up at the doggy daycare he goes to about a mile away. So this dog, he apparently, I'm going to give him credit, he was running for help. His driver or his owner, his caregiver was just in a car accident. So Aries took off and wound up at the Houndstown Daycare. And the owner there was surprised to see the pit bull mix doggy come sprinting up to the front door. Aries' owner says her dog has been going there for a few years and must have recognized the area. And he knew where he was going. Surveillance video shows the pup running up to the door before jumping up and down as if he was looking for help. That's pretty cool. But no one was injured in the crash, so that's good. And Aries was reunited, of course, with his owner. So, but that's a good dog story, right? 937-457-1290. Brian and Dave, what's up, Brian?
Hey,
you
were talking about the school crap. I remember me and the Ronnington Trail. We was in home ec cooking breakfast, and he messed the food up, and I was really hungry, and we started beating each other with eggs. And we got sent to the office. Principal started laughing. He laughing. Tell her that I paddled both of you. Go back to class.
You wait a second. You were hitting each other with eggs?
I was hungry, and he thought he was messing me.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening in home ec. For sure. For sure.
He just laughed. Tell her I paddled both of you.
All right, Brian, I appreciate it. I couldn't understand what he said there at the end, but you're throwing eggs at each other. That could be fun.
What am I listening to now?
What is this? The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
Double D.
Double L. S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
I understand, Lyle. I understand it, and I appreciate it, and I'm glad you did find me, for sure. That's right, Captain Scurvy. That would be helpful. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I heard threw eggs, went to principal's office, and then laughing. That's what I heard. But, well, thank you, Zach. That's very nice of you to say. What'd you say? Okay. All right. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Ugh. Oh, I understand. Just be careful. Yeah, be careful, Zach. Don't risk your life. Don't crash into any buildings.
WHIO.
What do we know about this guy, Mr. Hot Stuff?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. You can watch the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Stitch every weeknight from 5 to 7 when we're on live. Remember, I think it was early last year, the OceanGate submersible. This is the submersible that the homemade submersible Titan. This is the one that was taking some people down to see the Titanic. And they lost communication with it, and then it suffered a catastrophic implosion. That was a huge story. Remember that? Well, there's actually a documentary that's coming out on March 6th and 7th. It's called The Titan Sub Disaster Minute by Minute. And I think it's on Discovery. For some reason in the story, it doesn't say, but you could just Google it. There is this is interesting. They show or play a clip that they believe may be the people inside after they lost communication. You know, after they lost communication and lost the signal and the whole tracking deal, they mounted a search. And there was a Canadian Air Force, plane that was doing some searching, and they heard what sounded like pounding coming from an area close to where the submersible had disappeared. And I got a clip of it, and this is the real deal. Now, some people are saying this is not the survivors. This could actually be one of the other vessels that was out doing the searching, but they really think that this might have been the last attempt at trying to communicate. The folks that were inside the Titan, trying to let people know, hey, we're still alive, we're still alive. But here's the clip. Listen to this. Now, they have more. That's just a small clip. That's all that was in the story that I saw. But the point that they make is that it sounds like somebody doing right? It sounds like there's like a rhythm to it. It's not something that you might necessarily hear on a vessel. And of course that is enhanced and the sound is heightened, but it should be interesting. I want to watch this. And again, it's the Titan Sub Disaster Minute by Minute. Just Google it. It's going to be on for 2 nights, March 6th and 7th. 937-457-1290. Let's talk to Jill in Germantown. Is that right? Is this Jill?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool. I'm glad because William, my producer, wasn't sure if it was Jill or something else. So he got it right.
Yes, he did.
All right. What's going on, Jill?
Well, my theme of school is the fact that I had a sixth grade math teacher, and she was very short, and she was had glasses and so forth. And back in the day, the kids used to use an eraser, to erase the chalkboard and stuff. And she'd leave them dirty lined up there. If you didn't pay attention, she'd smack you in the face with it, and it would dead hit you in the face.
Right. Yeah. I at some point, erasers, they were handy. They were right there. At some point when the kids were acting up, just an easy thing to grab. Right.
Oh, yeah.
It'll get your attention. It probably wouldn't hurt you too badly, maybe unless you got it in the eye. But
right.
Generally, I don't know that an eraser is going to do, just like standard chalkboard eraser is going to do much damage.
No, it's not, but it woke them up.
Oh, sure. It woke you up. And
and you would go out there because there'd be chalk all over your face, and everybody knows Mrs. Bots hit you.
That's great, Jill. Thanks for your story. I appreciate it. 937-457-1290.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Not good. What are you talking about? I'm doing that for a story I've got coming up. I wasn't playing it just to play it. I promise. That's funny. Yeah, I got a story coming up that has to do with the stripper, so that's why. I wasn't playing it just for the sake of playing it. See, I told you earlier, like the computer that I do production on is the same computer that I use here, and sometimes you're going to hear stuff. That's the way it goes. What have I got here? Well, I did ask the question the other day. How do I make the live stream more entertaining? I think Clinton mentioned dancing girls. That's true. They did. Not my boobs, though. Seven 1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Watch live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Stitch. Of course, today is Leap Day. This one day every 4 years, we get an extra day in the month of February. And we had a story, I don't know, a week or two ago about a woman who was celebrating her 100th birthday today. But it was only like her 32nd birthday because it's every four, that kind of thing. And I asked the question, I'm like, are there any edge heads out there who have a birthday today? And I didn't hear from anybody, but I found this story. There's a family in Payson, Utah, and they have 5 children, okay? 5 children. One is named Xavier, he's 5. One is named Remington, he's 4. No, wait a second. How does this work? That can't be. Something's not right here. They say in this story that mom has given birth to not 1, but not 2, but 3 leap year babies. So that would mean if she's got 3 kids, 5, 4, and 3, she'd be having them 1 year after the other. Right? Yeah. But yet in the story, they're saying that they had their babies, 3 of their kids, on leap year. Something screwy here. I don't know about this story. They say, this is what they say. The first one was unintentional. The second one just happened. And the third one is the one they actually tried on purpose. I guess you can induce labor. If you're measuring up by leap years. There it is. That's what it is. They're measuring up by leap years. Xavier's 5, Remington's 4, Jade is 3. But I don't know. There's something weird about that. That's when I don't math. This is one of those math stories. Why did I even bring that to the show? Anyway, 937-457-1290. I thought it'd be interesting, but I guess not. Grandpa Mike in Dayton. What's up, Grandpa Mike? Yeah, turn your radio down. Gotta turn your radio down.
Folks, when you call in, turn your radio down.
Can you give me 1 second? I'm pulling into Deeds Park, and I have a policeman right behind me. So
Wait, did you just get
I
stopped?
don't want to talk while I'm on my phone. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Wait a second.
Good.
Oh, wait a second.
I apologize, but I'm going to pull right here real quick. I can stop because I want to keep your time up. I appreciate you if you're still there.
I'm still here. So have you been pulled over by the police?
No.
I got you. I thought we were gonna suddenly it was gonna be cops or something. And
well, you might have to bail me out if that's the case. Yeah, but anyway, real quick, you talking about the dogs before?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, originally from New York. And
Okay.
We had a half German Shepherd, half Airedale, and we'd go to New York for a week in the summer, and we'd go to Ocean City, Maryland for a week, back to back. We'd always kennel the dog. Where we lived from the kennel was about 3 miles.
Okay.
And for about a 3-4 year stretch, every year we get back, he'd go outside. We live in a neighborhood, everybody let their dogs run. You could do that. Nobody had a problem. And he'd disappear. The kennel would call up and say, your dog's here.
Wow. So he knew where he was going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a good about 3 mile stretch.
Yeah.
Through some woods and stuff. But no, he'd always show up back there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So anyway.
Grandpa Mike, I'm going to let you go. Your phone was kind of crackling there a little bit and hurting my head. But thank you for that. That's pretty cool that the dog knew where he was going. But you see dogs with their head out of the car window all the time, catching the wind in their face. So clearly they're paying attention, and they're also probably going by smell because dogs have a terrific sense of smell. Let's talk to Richard and Xenia. What's up, Richard?
I was just wanting to tell you about a story. When I believe I was in the 5th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and the teacher picked up this boy. I know his name, but this boy, and put him in the trash can butt first.
Wow. Now that's pretty impressive. That's impressive.
I don't know what he did. I just
Yeah.
turned around, and there he was picking him up, putting him in the trash can.
I did that to my sister once at home. She was, acting up. It's hard to pick up a 25-year-old and put him in the trash can like that. It's crazy. All right, Richard, I appreciate it. All right, well, Leslie, she's great. She's watching the live stream. She's figured it out. So the kids in that story problem that I couldn't figure out because, like I said, I don't math. The oldest kid is 20, the middle is 16, and the youngest is 12. That's the story. If you're going by leap years, though, they're only 5, 6, and whatever it was. So that makes sense. Okay. Thank you. See, this is why I do a radio talk show and I'm not teaching math. We have a Florida woman.
She's totally crazy. She ain't no lady.
Got to know your strengths and weaknesses.
She's really wild, yeah, doing it trailer style. She'll pull a razor, carries a taser, trash a bar, steals a car. She's the one Mama said stay far away from. Yeah, she's a Florida woman.
Florida woman working as a stripper at the Body Talk Topless in Port St. Lucie, Florida, was arrested after cops say she hit a patron in the face with a small stack of cash after the patron refused to give her a tip. Well, look, those girls, I think we have some music for that, don't we? That's not stripper music. That's more like porn music. Here we go. This is what we wanted. There we go. Little Motley Crue. The victim told cops that he was talking to several employees of the establishment about his career, which all strippers love. They love to be engaged in conversation by their patrons by talking about their careers, and acknowledged that the women were upset he had not provided them with any tips. The man, apparently ignorant of strip joint etiquette, said that he did not see any signs stating that it was mandatory to tip. The employees were upset that the victim had not thrown money at them, which is, I guess, common practice. I wouldn't know. I guess that's what happens at strip clubs. A friend of the victim told police that the man was drunk. Oh, well, there's a surprise. Drunk at a strip club. He'd been talking about having a lot of money and not wanting to provide a tip, and following the strippers around the club, insulting them. Where's the bouncer at this time? Every decent strip club, from what I hear, has a pretty good bouncing staff. According to cops, a 28-year-old stripper picked up a small stack of money and threw it towards the victim and struck him in the face. She claimed the cash was tossed in a non-aggressive manner, but she did end up smacking him with an open hand across the face. So she was arrested. Florida woman, stripper, arrested for tossing cash. Let's talk to Joe and Tip. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, big guy?
How are you?
Hey, great. Alex says hi. I'm Alex's dad.
Oh,
Pottery.
Yes. How's she doing? Is she doing well?
Yeah, excellent, brother. Excellent.
Excellent.
I got a humorous story. Both my parents were teachers.
Oh, wow.
Her grandparents.
Yep.
My dad was an industrial arts teacher. So he always kept like this 12 or 18 inches, swear it's 4 feet long when you're a kid,
Yeah.
eraser in his sink, wet.
Oh.
Oh, and when one of his kids would act up, they would get plastered literally
with a wet eraser.
Wet, chalk-filled eraser.
Wow, that is quality.
Oh yeah, everybody in the school then knew he had the nickname of Wolfman, and everybody knew when they got tagged. Someone got tagged by the Wolfman.
What was that like having going to a school with your parent or parents being teachers?
Well, I was one of the brothers that lucked out. I did not go to the same school my dad taught at.
Ah, okay.
I was the last in line, and but however, the teachers did ask me, tell me you're the last one of the Gauthier boys.
Yeah, that's funny. I wouldn't want to be smacked with a wet eraser. That's for sure.
Oh,
a big floppy.
They had a wood center in them, right?
Oh yeah, I do kind of remember that. Yeah.
But anyway, great show.
Oh,
Love
thank
your
you.
Show. You
Thank
do
you.
a great job, and thank you very much.
Of course, thank you. I appreciate it. Very nice. What a nice call. Let's talk to Matt in Kettering. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, hey, I love the show, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm in sales, and when I get back in town, I get the station on all the time. WHI, I listen to the tornadoes. So you're talking about I got a teacher story, but my dad's birthday today, born 1929, and he's a leap year baby, but we always celebrate on 28th.
Yeah, that's what this other family I was talking about. Apparently, they every year they have a big party on the 28th.
Korea vet, navigator, and so on. But anyways, the teacher story. This is mid 70s Kettering junior high.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say his name is Chris. So you have shop class, you got metals, and you got woods class, and so there was a paddle hanging on by the desk of the teacher. And you just kind of knew that if you messed up in class, there's the paddle sitting there. Well, his name was Chris, and whatever he did, I don't know if it was a guard thing, but you're making things for your parents, a shadow box,
right? Yeah,
and your whatnot. And so, at the end of the class, and so in front of all the kids, the boys, Chris had to bend over and take a whack. And this guy was not. He had muscles.
Yeah,
I don't know if he played football. I don't know what. I can tell you the teacher's name and the student's name, but I'm not going to go there. But
keep it anonymous.
Yeah. It was Kettering Middle School here over. And we all now we're going all hush hush. We're amongst ourselves. were talking about it, but it never got out into like, because you can't do that now.
No way, you can't. Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's all I got.
I think they used to call those paddles the Board of Education, didn't they?
There you go. Amen,
I
bro.
think they did. Yeah.
I know. I've heard some of the Catholic stories, the nuns and so on, but this was public school. And now I don't know what they do with the teacher. They go to court and I don't know. But that was all. Yeah. But that's how we grew up.
I got you, Matt. Thanks for calling, buddy. I appreciate it. Ted in Union City. What's up, Ted?
Ed.
Oh, Ed. I'm sorry. Everybody take a drink. William, my producer, put Ted down. It's actually Ed. If you're playing the Evening Edge drinking game, take a shot. Anyway, go ahead, Ed.
All right. I just wanted to say my daughter had her doctor's appointment today. She's due any day, but it's a cesarean.
Oh.
And the doctor wanted to put her in today, and she's like, absolutely not. You put me in after midnight.
That makes sense. I mean, you don't want to have to deal with that. Put that sort of burden on the kid. You know?
Well, she refused, and the doctor said, okay, I understand. So she's having the baby tomorrow.
Right. And it makes sense. If she goes in tonight, you just say, well, we're just going to wait until 12:01,
right.
And then the baby will be a March 1st baby.
Yeah, well, she's got to be at the hospital at 9:30 in the morning.
Well, good luck. Do you know if you're having a boy or a girl?
It's a girl, and it's going to be my 12th grandchild.
Holy cow! Have they come up with a name yet?
I didn't ask.
Okay, all right.
And that's between him and my son and his wife.
No, I got you. Well, let me know and make sure everything comes out okay. Okay, and I didn't mean it the way that sounded, but you know what I mean. I hope it all works out.
I got you.
Okay, thanks, buddy. There you go. 937-457-1290. I got to go to a break here. We'll be right back. I promise.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
The Storm Center.
Cynthia says she can't hear me, but everything on the board is set up. Is anybody else having problems? Maybe something happened with the feed. I don't know. Maybe, Cynthia, you put me on mute. I don't know. But everything on the board set correctly. All right, well. All righty. Maybe Cynthia put me on mute. I'm sure a lot of people would like to do that from time to time. Susan, I think they play tomorrow, but I think the game's at 9, maybe 9 o'clock. Let me see. I had the schedule up. Yeah, they play Loyola tomorrow at 9. Next Tuesday, they play St. Louis at 9. And then next Friday, they have a game at VCU. I don't know. I was just talking to my wife about that, Josh. We've eaten at home the last several nights, so it's I think we might go out tonight, but I don't know where.
From the McAfee Heating and Air Studios, breathe easy. Choose McAfee, WHIO Dayton, and WHIO FM Pleasant Hill.
Temperatures climbing back towards 70 by the end of the weekend. Well, the latest at 7 o'clock. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
And Tom, Tom, what were you again?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Watch the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Stitch. Real quickly, Tim in Beaver Creek. What's going on, Tim?
Oh, hey. This is about fourth grade. We had a teacher. She was in an accident and lost her left arm just above the elbow.
Oh.
And if you did something worthy of punishment, she'd bring you up to the front of the class and she'd bend your fingers back with that stub and give you a good whack across the palm of your hand with a 3-corner ruler.
That sounds like
really
torment.
But it was worse having that grizzly stub bend your
Oh,
fingers
my
back
gosh.
than taking the hit on the palm with that ruler.
That sounds like cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, my gosh, Tim. Thank you for that. Can you imagine that? Oh, my gosh. Unsettling and painful. That's hardcore, man. That is hardcore. Whew. That's a good one to end the show with. Well, thank you for all your calls and all your stories about your crazy teachers. That's awesome. You can get the podcast of this show at eveningedgetodd.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. It's all over the place. You can just Google Evening Edge with Todd. Follow me on social media at Evening Edge Todd and send me an email, eveningedgetodd@gmail.com. Have a terrific Thursday night, and we will be back tomorrow just after 5 here on the Evening Edge.
Adios, cowboy.
I'm saying it's over.
I'm afraid that's all there is, my friend.
Mediocre evening.
Could have been worse.
That's it. Show's over. Well, that was exhausting.
No more fun, no refunds.
Good night, Todd.
Everybody have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow. Be safe, be safe, be safe.